Okay, first problem on your study guide. This is your Chapter 8 study guide. Number 1 says 6x minus 15 is greater than or equal to 4. What do you do to work this problem? First thing, add 15. So 6x is greater than or equal to 19. What do you do next? Divide by 6. X is greater than or equal to 19 over 6. Now here are your answer choices. The question says which number is a solution. So be careful. Be careful that you are picking the one that's truly a solution. Could 19 over 6 be greater than or equal to 19 over 6? Why is it okay to use that one? Because of the equal to. Okay. Number 2 says negative 1/2 k is less than or equal to 12. What do you do for this one? How do you solve this one? What do you think? Jesse, what do you think? When you divide by negative 1/2, when you divide by a fraction, it's like multiplying by the reciprocal. Right? What happens when you multiply negative times a negative? Positive, and 2 over 1 times 1/2 is 1, so I just have k. What happens when you multiply or divide by a negative when you're working an inequality? Sign changes direction. What's my answer here? Negative 24. Number 3, 8 over 9v is less than 5/8. Yes. What do we do here? Multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 9 times 8 is 72. 8 times 9 is 72. So this side is v is less than. What happens on the other side? 45 over 64. And that is my answer. Number 4. Negative 3b is less than negative 15. What do you do to this problem? Divide by negative 3. Greater than 5. Any questions on 1, 2, 3, or 4? Number 5. Absolute value of 5x plus 10 is less than 10. Who remembers how to do these problems? Now, let's talk about this for a second. The stuff under my thumb, when you take the absolute value, it's less than 10. Give me a number that when you take the absolute value, you get something smaller than 10. Just tell me a number that would work. Negative 2. What would you get when you took the absolute value of negative 2? 2, and that would be negative 10. That would be less than 10. What other number would work? 9. Would negative 9 work? Negative 7. Would 7 work? So anything between negative 10 and 10. So because of the absolute value part, you break this into two problems. 5x plus 10 is less than 10, or 5x plus 10 is greater than negative 10. So one of your problems looks identical to the one I started with. I just removed the absolute value bars. The other one, the absolute value bar change the sign? Just listen. The other one, when I removed the absolute value bars, I changed the direction and I change that number to the negative. So yes, when you remove the absolute value bars, one of them's identical, one of them, you're changing the direction and the sign of the number that it's equal to. Because the stuff under my thumb, the numbers you were describing, these were the numbers you were describing, right? There's negative 10, there's 10. And Leah said negative 2. And Braden said 9. And then Braden said negative 7, right? And the numbers that y'all were calling out, were they smaller than 10? Were they bigger than negative 10? They have to follow both.
So I can write it both those ways, or?
You have to write it both those ways, yes. They have to be both of those. Because if I just say it's less than 10, negative 11 is less than 10, isn't it? What's the absolute value of negative 11? And that doesn't satisfy that inequality. See, there's a boundary right here. If I just say it has to be bigger than negative 10, 12 is bigger than negative 10, right? What's the absolute value of 12? That's too big. So there's boundaries. Not there. There's boundaries on where I can get my answers. So here we go. We solve these. Subtract 10 from each side. 5x is less than 0. Divide by 5. X is less than 0. Add 10. 5x is greater than 0. No. Subtract 10. I knew that wasn't working out right. So that's going to be negative 20 over there. Divide by 5. X is greater than negative 4. So on the number line, there's negative 4. There's 0. What kind of circle do you put on negative 4? Open or closed? Open. X has to be greater than negative 4, so that means I'm on this side. What about 0? Open or closed? How do you know it's open? These symbols get an open circle. These symbols get a closed circle. It's all from chapter 3. The shading over here. Okay, number 6.
What?
Negative 5x minus 7 is less than 28.
So what does x equal?
This is my answer. It's this and this. I don't know if they're going to ask you to solve and graph, one or the other, but these will be the answers. What do you do for number 6? Add 7. So negative 5x is less than 35. Raiden, what's next? So x is greater than negative 7. Any questions on that one? Number 7, g plus 8 minus 2 times g minus 24 is greater than 0. What do you have to do first on this problem? Okay, so we distribute. We get g plus 8. What do you get when you multiply here? Then what? Those need to be combined. That gives you what? These need to be combined. That gives me subtract 56 from both sides. What's left to do? So g is less than 56. Why less than? Why did I turn my sign around? Number 8. 4h minus 20 is less than or equal to 5h plus 16. How do we solve this one? Okay. So I get negative 20 is less than or equal to h plus 16. Number 9, write a compound inequality that could represent the graph. X is less than negative 1 or X is greater than or equal to 5. You just write the inequality for each part of the graph. Do you have any questions there? You see how this matches? Okay.
Not really.
No?
I didn't catch the comment. I put X less than or equal to 5.
Okay.
What the heck was I thinking?
You see it now, Brayden? Okay, 10 says negative 2.6 to the 0 power.
Why does it need to be less than? What?
So I need to talk about number 9 a little bit more. Look here, Brayden. N is less than or equal to negative 1.
Can it just be less than?
Yes. Or N is greater than or equal to 5. So that takes care of that part, and that takes care of that part. Okay, 10. What's the answer to this? 1. 11. Negative 5 to the negative 2 power. What does the negative 2 tell us that we need to do? That moves it to the bottom of the fraction. And then you have to square the negative 5. What do you get when you square negative 5? 25. So that's 1 over 25. 12 says 4c to the negative 4, b to the 4th. Which part of this do you have to fix? Brayden?
On 11, I turned it to 1/5 to the negative second power. That made it 1 over negative something.
Okay, look. This is what you said.
I made it negative 2 over negative 25, which in turn is negative 25 over 2, which...
No. Put a star by that and we'll look at it together in a minute. What part of this has to be fixed? Okay. So 4b to the 4th stays put. C to the 4th goes to the bottom. That's my answer. 13 says 5 over a to the negative 4th, b to the 8th. Okay, that's my answer.
Wait a minute, what was it again?
Right here.
Wait a minute, do the
Okay, Madison, help me do this one.
well, C to the 4th.
Okay, what do you do with that exponent? The negative exponent makes you move it to the bottom, right? Now, what number do we get here? So this is really 8 times 1 over 256. So that's 8 over 256.
Wouldn't that just multiply into 1/32?
Yes, that is 1 over 32 when you simplify it.
I turned it into 104.25 times to the 4th power. I got it 1 over 256 because it just multiplies by 8 instead of putting 8 over it.
Okay, help me do this one. 3 to the 5th times 3 to the 5th times 3 to the negative 8. Let's do these first. What do you do when you combine those? 3 to the 10th. times 3 to the negative 8. Gentry, what do you do with those?
You combine them.
You combine them by addition, right? But what do you get when you do that? And what's the answer to 3 squared? 9. 16.
Yeah, that's what I got. That was 11.
Okay, let's look at 16.
9. That's the answer to 15.
16.
Oh.
16. Here we go. Bree, help me do this one. Multiply the 4s. What does that give you? 16. What do you do with those? Add them. That's my answer for 16. 17. What do we do here? What's the coefficient here? You need to multiply negative 1 times 4 times 4. Gives you negative 16. C to the 7th and C to the 6th combine to give me C to the 13th. And then I have D to the 5th. 18 says M to the 7th squared. Hallie Kate, how do you handle those? So you get M to the 14th. Good. 19.
Wait, what's number 18?
M to the 14th.
And what was number 17?
I'll go back in just a second. N to the 5th to the negative 4th power. We again multiply them. What do you get when you multiply them? Negative 20. To fix that, it's 1 over n to the 20. If the bell rings, y'all stay put. I'm going to finish going over this, okay? And I'll get you excused from tardies. Number 20 says 2q squared to the 4th. 2 to the 4th, q to the 8th.
Oh.
What's 2 to the 4th? 16. 21 says negative 3a squared b to the 5th squared times a cubed b to the 4th all to the 6th. The 2 affects everything. Negative 3 squared, a squared squared, b to the 5th squared. The 6 affects everything. A to the 3rd to the 6th, a to the 4th to the 6th. So I have 9, a to the 4th, b to the 10th, a to the 18th. That's a b. I wrote that wrong. B to the 24th. 9, a to the 22nd, b to the 34th.
That's the answer?
22, 4 times 10 to the negative 3, written as a decimal.
I just went in negative 3 to the second power on my calculator. I got negative.
Did you put it in parentheses? Got to put it in parentheses.
It doesn't say put it in parentheses.
It's in parentheses right here. It has to stay in them. It has to stay in them. If it's in the parenthesis, it has to stay in it.
Still, wouldn't it?
Negative 3 squared means negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 3 without. Remember my little silly story I told y'all about the negative and the 3 are not attached, and you square. This really means negative 1 times 3 squared, which is really 9 times negative 1, which is negative 9. In this case, the negative is used twice, so you get 9. 22.004. Okay, Braden, did that clear it up or make it muddy? Okay, when the parentheses are around the negative gets used twice as well. When the parentheses are not around the negative, you square the number, And the negative is actually a negative, like a negative 1 times 3 squared. So you'd have to do your exponents, get your 9, and then multiply by negative 1.
I think
23,
one where you,
0 point,
they're keeping it
point
in
zero
the
zero four,
parentheses.
that's the answer?
Question? Do you still have a question, Braden?
Yes.
Okay. Put a mark back. We'll talk about it in a minute. Let me finish this up. Y'all stay put. 24.00299. Move your decimal over 3 places. 2.99 times 10 to the negative 3. 7 times 10 to the 5th for 25. 7. 1.
Wait a minute. 5.313.
That's 25.
27.
26.
Okay.
Move it 4 places to make it a decimal. Any questions about scientific notation? Are y'all doing okay on this? Okay.
Wait a
27.
minute. Oh, come on.
You can put 27 in your calculator. It's 3.6 times 10 to the 12th. You're only responsible for through number 27 for tomorrow for the test. We didn't, the other problems, we'll talk about them at the end of the test tomorrow, but I'm not counting them for you or against you. I might let them be bonus. But that's as far as we got.
3.6 times 10